Hello, people of the internet. You are listening to Talkin' Toonami, where we discuss Toonami both new and old. I am Sketch, your host, and joining me today is John Paul
Hey guys.
and Christopher Soul.
Hey yo, how you guys doing?
How are you guys doing?
I don't
We're
know.
doing
How are
pretty
you
good.
doing?
Well, I don't know. How are you doing?
No. I asked you first.
Nope. No. We're not doing that.
Oh boy.
Oh boy, indeed. Well, needless to say, the first video was a success, so I decided to do a series of videos discussing Toonami, and we're going to try a roundtable format for the second episode to get other people's opinions, because if I'm just talking there, really, I'm amazed that people listen to me talking for 30 minutes.
Well, considering
Which,
you do have a sexy
yeah,
voice.
People are saying I have a sexy voice. I think I sound too boyish for that. I've heard people have said that I sound like a young Sonny Strait.
That makes you
possibly,
pedo bait.
That makes
maybe,
me
maybe.
Usopp, but
Makes you Usopp or young Krillin, it doesn't matter.
and the original Tom.
The original Tom, yes, there you go.
Which
But
reminds
otherwise,
me, when I was making a bridge series and my abridged team was called Phonami, we had some videos with Faux Tom, and I was Tom for that, and I thought I sounded a lot like Sonny Strait's Tom. So,
well, there you go. But otherwise, let's just consider this a follow-up to your previous video, where we
pretty
try
much.
and delve into what people like to try and disassimilate and let's crap. I don't know what I'm trying to say there. Just kind of go down the line, breaking down what people, what we try and say, why there should be a Toonami now, why Adult Swim's Toonami can work today, and so on and so forth.
Exactly.
Might have rambled on them.
So we're basically going to go down a line of comments and questions that I have received since the first video, and everybody's going to respond. So, one of the number one comments that has come along is, we've demanded Toonami for years, so why are they bringing it back now of all times? What are your thoughts, John?
We've demanded Toonami for a while. I think I feel like any time to bring it back, I feel would have been like any time, like any potential time. Wow, fuck. Okay. I feel that we have demanded Toonami for a while now, and now. I mean, the fact that, I feel now is a good time, especially since, it was brought back as a joke, but there was a lot of interest in said joke. And I feel like, if it wasn't brought back now, I feel like the chances would have dimmed as time went on. And as was mentioned before, they need to get money and funding for, additional stuff that they can do with the block, and, airing it now might be able to help that by getting ad revenue for the stuff that they air and whatnot. So, I don't know if that answers the question.
I think it was more of just a statement, really, in terms of, yeah, we've demanded it, but why now? I guess to kind of go on from where you went, John, I think the bigger thing is, sure, since 2008, we've wanted Toonami to come back. We've wanted it back, period. But I think the biggest thing is, a lot of us, especially now, 2012, it's been almost nearly 3.5 years after the cancellation of Toonami. A lot of us moved on. A lot of us stopped caring. It was like, okay, let's let it rest in peace for what it was and move on. But apparently, of course, from what Jason DeMarco has said on Twitter, Mike Lazo, I mean, it was his idea to do the whole April Fool's joke / testing the waters. Really, hey, let's run some old Toonami stuff. Jason's like, okay, let's make new stuff for it. He's like, okay, go ahead, and they did what they did with it. Then the overall overarching factor is we've demanded it to a certain degree, but as we've seen and progress, as we've seen Cartoon Network progress as a whole, its anime and just action cartoons in general have slowly been fading on Cartoon Network. Sure, you still had Star Wars, The Clone Wars, Ben 10, even Generator Rex to a certain degree, but I think, and I'll go on later on as we go down the line in terms of what I think about that and some of my comments on that as well, but the Cartoon Network wasn't, Cartoon Network wasn't going to touch this. Cartoon Network's not going to revive Toonami. Hell, they don't really have much of an action franchise even now, centralizing a block outside of DC Nation.
I mean, like, there's sorry to interrupt you, but like on that note, like,
No, you're good.
I mean, like, we have like it. I mean, this is technically an acquisition for the block. Like Thundercats and Cartoon Network seems to be showing real no interest even in like, shows that are owned by their,
the overarching company like Warner Brothers.
Yeah, and Turner.
Which I think.
And
yeah, which I don't know, Sketch. I think even you might have been the one to retweet it. Wasn't there something where someone else was interested in Thundercats? It's kind of getting off topic, but isn't someone else looking at Thundercats to buy it from Turner and Warner Brothers?
If that was retweeted, it wasn't from me.
Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah, I heard something about like, I think it was like that Thundercats official, or like it was like that fan run Thundercats Twitter had posted it.
That would be interesting.
Yeah, I think really just to kind of end the note there, and outside of your own thoughts, Sketch. And like I said, we'll get lower on down the line about Cartoon Network in general.
Yeah.
And especially with action cartoons and
yes,
anime.
we will.
The Toonami is William Street's baby, period. And William Street running Toonami now, full on, with no real input from Cartoon Network as a whole. This can only get better. The biggest thing is, hey, Toonami's back, bitches. That's all you can really say, and just look forward to the future.
How I would address the comment that we've always been demanding Toonami. Well, first of all, people were demanding Cartoon Network bring back Toonami. Now, yes, Adult Swim is owned by Cartoon Network, but they operate differently, as anybody can tell you. And Cartoon Network looks at Toonami and sees a block that they grew out of. Or rather, it grew out of them. People who cared about Toonami back in 2008 were 14 years or older for the most part. And that's the other reason why it's coming back now. Consider how long 3.5 years is. Consider people who were 15 back in 2008 are now over 18. This is why Adult Swim sat up and paid attention on April 1st when they just did it for a lark. People in their target demographic cared dearly about Toonami and were willing to watch action cartoons and anime late on a Saturday night with almost no prior notice. To them, that is success waiting to happen. Cartoon Network sees Toonami as an old dog that they could have rebuilt over and over again and refocused towards children, but every attempt to refocus it younger has pretty much failed. It's fighting the tide. It's fighting the tide of Toonami.
Which I think the even bigger thing is, I've mentioned it even on my own YouTube video. It's like, this is a more mature Toonami, period. Which I think with the kids who were 13 or 14 watching Toonami in 2008, which I think that's a lot of the bitching about Naruto Shippuden being on Toonami now. But otherwise, us, the older generation who literally did grow up watching the block, this new Adult Swim Toonami this is for us, period, I think. Added, it's also to bring in new fans to action cartoons and anime, period.
What's worth mentioning is, I know this might even be shocking to hear for this one show, but half of the block, how we brought up about Naruto, is also half the block is shonen, which is the older boys demographic, which that even includes Dead Man Wonderland,
True, and I think we'll get into it a little bit later.
Yeah.
But, the whole shonen thing, I think it's one of the points later on. Yeah, let's not talk about it yet.
Yeah, I'm sorry. That was my fault.
So, the other thing about the amount of time that has passed, they could have simply moved Toonami over to Adult Swim when they canceled it. The reason why they didn't do that is because anime was in the crapper for the ratings back then. Oh my gosh, I think Bleach was under 200,000 18 to 34. And everything else was pathetically low. Now, in 2009, things weren't looking much better. Adult Swim Action looked like it was on its way out. All they had for new stuff was like Serenade Moribito. And
which what they failed to really promote in general.
Yeah, they really failed that show. Code Geass failed on its own merits. Until they moved it to 5 a.m. But Moribito, they didn't even give a chance.
With Code Geass, though, I guess to kind of interrupt, they didn't really promote that really either, though. I think you had it, that and Moribito, you did have kind of in that overarching Adult Swim Action promo that they aired, but as a whole, they still never really promoted either show.
I mean, with Moribito's case, from what's been said, like I said, I don't know the details 100%, but it's been said that Moribito was kind of an acquisition of Cartoon Network that got moved over to Adult Swim, probably because of Toonami's cancellation.
Yeah, wasn't there, someone had mentioned it on Toonzone, I think, wasn't there something about, like, a Cartoon Network producer or acquisition person? She was, I think it was a woman, and then she had passed away after Moribito was acquisitioned, and then Cartoon Network didn't want it, and they threw it to Adult Swim. I think that's what they never gave us the poster never gave us a real source, I believe, but that sounds like a pretty good reasons why.
I think so. Moribito seems like the kind of show that they would have aired on Toonami back in the day.
Yeah. To be honest, it kind of felt more, I think it never got higher than a TV PG VL.
Yeah, it was pretty tame. I've seen the whole series. It's very tame. It's like Avatar.
I mean, I think part of the reason why, Cartoon Network picked that up, I know we're getting off subject, but I just want to finish this thought. It's probably because of the book promotion that was probably because they wanted to promote the book.
Scholastic, yes.
Yeah. So.
And that didn't work out either.
No.
Which might have been the reason why Cartoon Network pushed it off to Adult Swim. One of the many reasons. But I think it's pretty obvious that the reason why it got pushed off to Adult Swim, if it was intended for Cartoon Network, was at the time they were about to give One Piece the plug, and Naruto was on its way out too. So all they were picking up were the toyetic anime. Anything other than the toyetic anime went to Adult Swim.
Yeah, which I don't really think I have a lot to say about the toygenic anime, but I guess we'll get there.
We'll get there. So I guess I have a lot.
Should we move on to the next? Yeah, should we get on to the next?
Yeah, one final thought about that is by around 2010, the Saturday night block of anime on Adult Swim was starting to do well again. Kakaishi did pretty well. Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood did pretty well, but not up to par with the original series.
Mm-hmm.
And Bleach came back and broke its record with like 600,000 18 to 34.
Mm-hmm.
That's amazing.
It's
not quite Inuyasha good, but it's still really good. So the potential for growth was there, but it needed a push. And Adult Swim was probably thinking, well, we could give it a push, or we could just get rid of it because comedy will do fine in those time slots. But they saw the results of the April 1st stunt and thought, maybe we could make Toonami work. What do you think, Turner? And Turner's like, not literally Ted Turner, but the people at the head of Turner are like, I don't know. You're going to have to prove to us that this works before we're going to give you money.
Yeah. Yes,
So I hear
yeah.
Mike Lazo paid for this to happen. I don't know if that means he paid out of pocket or if he moved some budget around.
It's probably the latter, I would assume.
I think the general consensus is this was the right time, the right conditions to bring back Toonami. Whereas a few years ago, the conditions weren't there.